Okay, I'm curious, how do you make a show about a pandemic during a pandemic? Is that hard?
Nope. You just get
No,
right in it. You just get right in it because it's the pandemic.
you're too good. Yeah, but you hoarded toilet paper, so what can I say? Enough said.
Yeah, that was the fun part about it though. Was like, yo, this is happening right now. This is a current event. And it was like, yo, let's hurry up and get this out. I was worried about it. I was worried about the pandemic being over before the show came out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what if the pandemic is over? But hey, guys, we're still here.
You know what surprised me is when you looked at it, it reminded you of all the things we did in those early days that we just have kind of abandoned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I forgot about the clapping of the pads and all that stuff. I remember my whole neighborhood was doing that. What happened, people?
yeah, well, and I loved when at one point a character puts a hand over the face, like that's going to be a mask or something. And I go, yeah, right. This is just exactly how it goes. What is it about these characters? They're so innocent that you really want them to win. What is that?
I think that's Greg. I think Greg did such a good job with just the words on the page. We didn't really have to do a whole lot. He had it all planned out. He had where we're standing, where we're walking, who comes in. Like he had it all mapped out. He was just a master of what he wanted, And so for us to come in, we knew exactly what we needed to do, So
we had
our fearless
we had
leader.
a whole lot of time too to prep. Like we had like 6 months to learn these lines, to figure out these scenes. So when it was time to actually do it, it was like you had no excuse. You had to be ready. It was no reason to. It was there. We had the time to prep. So yeah, it was great.
Greg's definitely good at writing characters with a lot of heart, it sneaks up on you like quickly, I suppose. Like probably your initial reaction is like, ugh, what are these idiots doing? And then you're like, I love them. They're amazing.
At what point did you feel like, oh no, I know the character now? The character wouldn't do that. Did you ever get to that point?
I don't think so. Honestly, like I feel like we all had ideas, and it was from what we saw on the page. I think there were a couple moments, I think actually, where I was like, hey, I wouldn't wear this type of shoe, or I wouldn't wear this kind of shirt. It was more about like the accessories, I would say. But I think we're all kind of on the same page. I think I naturally took Rooster to kind of like a pathetic space at times, but Greg kind of had to tell me, no, dude, you're confident. You're like super confident. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just super confident. And then that's where we kind of found some funny in that for sure.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the scenes that I did with Greg kind of like, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, Claire.
I think that's something that might come up more as we continue, if we continue, because, we really just started and even for Greg and the writers, like they just created these people. So we're kind of like getting our footing. And if we continued, I think now it would be like, oh, yeah, Wiggles. No.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. So some of the things, some of that time, the 6 months was that our time to come up with all those things. So like, for example, Melvin name was Rusty at first. And I was like, yo, that name is too close to Rooster. Like he needs something different. If Rooster and Rusty is like, let's give him a real name. You know what I'm saying? And Greg felt that too. So that stuff like that was stuff that we, changes like that. But as far as the story goes, and maybe it'll be like little things in the script here and there, but yeah, it was mostly already ready to go.
How can the pandemic continue in all of this? I mean, does it go away at some point? Do you say, you know what, this show doesn't need that as kind of an overlay?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so much going on in the world right now that it's just like, how do you stop talking about, what I mean? It's like, dang, now we got gas prices going up, you know what I'm saying? That's another aspect of it. COVID is still going on. Yeah, people getting other kind of things going on. So it's like, yeah, I think it's such a great platform to just talk about really what's going on in this world.
We're all going through it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all
right
going
now.
through. and we continue to go through it. So I mean, I don't see it being, I don't even think right now it's like the main focus, you know, it's just like lightly touches on it, but it's something that we're continually going through. So how can you ignore it, you know?
The
Yeah,
great
really, it's like the backdrop of the show, you know, it's just a shared experience. So those things are going to keep coming, like the boys have said. Yeah,
the monkeypox episode that'll be coming
yeah,
at some point, right? Can I,
exactly.
Claire, what was it like to be in that big bubble?
It was hot. The air disappeared pretty quickly. There were a lot of safety measures. They're like, take the bubble, take the bubble. It's like, do you need more air? And it was heavy, very heavy. Like when it was deflated, I
Yeah.
could barely walk in it.
Phillip, you've been in so many series, but like one-offs where you're there for one episode or so. Is it different being in something like this that really has a long tenure?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. Honestly, I mostly feel bad for my grandma because my grandma says, Mijo, how come you always die on shows? You know, I feel so bad for her. Yes, I should create like a death reel at this point, you know. But I tell her, I was like, Grandma, you know, somebody's got to do it. You know, somebody's got to be the guest star or whatever. But in this new show, Grandma, I don't die. So, and she's like, oh, Mijo, that's so great. I want you to live, you know. But yeah, no, it's been great, man. Been going at this for 10 plus years. So to finally get an opportunity to sink your teeth into a character for an extended period of time is definitely a blessing. And yeah, just to work alongside Greg and Garrett and Martha and Kate, obviously. So, I mean, these are actors who have been doing it for a very long time. For me, it was just like a huge sponge moment. I just want to learn as much as I possibly can. It's like a comedy masterclass under Greg Garcia, you know. So yeah, it definitely been a blessing, and I learned so much about the technical side of just day in and day out of putting on a show, but you also learn a lot about yourself. You know, you learn a lot about being able to reset. You know, so it's been fun for sure.
So is dying hard, but comedy is easy, or comedy easy and dying hard?
That's gonna go on my tombstone, you know. No, I think yeah, I think dying is easy, I think, but comedy is hard. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? I've gotten strung up before on TV shows. I've gotten shot and stabbed in the chest. I swear I need to do a death reel or something.
Grandma's waiting for it. Grandma's waiting for it. You know, it's interesting because, and please don't take this the wrong way, but all of you are very great character actors. And I would assume that a lot of times when you go up for a part, it's like, well, no, you're not the part that I want. You're not that, I don't want that specific kind of character. How do you keep yourself motivated during all of this until you get something like this? Because this is like a perfect match.
Yeah, well, this is what you do. It's this thing called momentum. And momentum is what keeps you going, because that's what this business is. It's a whole lot of no's, a little bit of yeses. So like I go into every situation not expecting anything at all other than to show what I have to offer. You know what I'm saying? Because I have something to offer that nobody else has to offer. So if you want it or not is up to you. But what I have is different than what anybody else has. So that's all Amen. I can do is just bring it and come in it and as good as I can. That's all I can do.
Claire, is it your voice that holds Amen. You into a certain category?
It definitely does something. For sure. This is my first acting job, so I don't have all the amazing experiences my boyfriends do. So I feel like to say like what keeps me going is a little bit silly just because it's so fresh. But even still, like, the auditioning processes can be disheartening if you let it be. Although for me, whenever I get an audition, I'm like, let's go. Like, this is so much fun. I'm practicing. I feel so grateful that I get to audition. So many people are actors who are trained and going for it for years, and they don't have reps and they don't get auditions and all this stuff. So I just really try to savor, so corny, but I try to savor every part that I'm involved in. And yeah, I don't know if getting pigeonholed is a good thing or a bad thing, but I love to play characters, so like bring it on, you know.
Well, you guys do a fun job. I really enjoyed watching. I watched every one of them. It was like I had to binge, even though I didn't have to binge. And I laughed all the way through. So thank you so much for giving me that smile that I think I was losing through the pandemic.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, Bruce. Thank you so much.